History is at play and on the line tonight in Wisconsin. Founding club darlings Forward Madison and brand new powerhouse in the making Spokane Velocity come to an impasse in the USL League One semifinals presented by Dairyland Insurance. Welcome one and all to the party here. Welcome to Breese Stevens Field on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster. Let's get into the details of this matchup. This will be the third time this year that these two teams have met. The first two very much going in favor of the home side Mingos, but if there's anything we learned last weekend, it's that we got to toss those regular season results out the window. But that doesn't mean these two teams still can't take details from those matches and apply them to this evening's fixture against one another. With that in mind, this is how the bracket has unfurled coming into this weekend, presented by Terminix. The first time the league expanded to the 8-team playoff format, which makes Spokane Velocity not only the first 7 seed, but the first 7 seed to win a game in the playoffs. We're gonna try to carry that lucky 7 momentum into the game here this evening. Meanwhile, the Mingos trying to carry in that home playoff win momentum for another game tonight. They did it last weekend against the reigning runners-up in the Charlotte Independence. Took care of business. 2-0 victory over Mike Jeffries. It was a game where the game plan was executed according to Matt Glazer. You could see all the off-ball running that really did them favors in this one. Then you get the second goal in added time to make it comfortable. Matt Glazer would have loved that one sooner, but a 2-0 victory, you can't complain. Meanwhile, the talk of the town last weekend, it's the Spokane Velocity, the coldest team coming into the playoffs, up against the hottest team coming into the playoffs in the Hailstorm. 3-0 result in favor of the visitors, just as you would have expected, of course. 3 goals in 15 minutes for Lee Viedman's crew. The spirits were high after the game. They knew their form coming into the day, but they were not down on themselves. They were confident they could come into this game and get this kind of result. And lo and behold, they were able to execute. Got some nice goals in the process. Been a bumpy road at times this season for the Spokane Velocity because of injuries. They've lost some key pieces, key starting players, which meant they've had to go to the market middle of the season to bring in some new talent. And boy, have those players stepped up. This is just 3 examples. There are other players that Lee Viedman and his staff have had to acquire and bring in, and they have all stepped up in major ways. So shout out to not only finding the talent, but acclimating them quickly into the roster and into the play style. 2 teams enter the arena. Let's see who has the heart and prowess to earn one more game this year. Madison and Spokane fight for that dream opportunity up next on ESPN+.
It's an S.
Oh, not bad.
My name is John Murphy.
Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Justicia.
Justice.
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 Justice from the ground. Justice from the ground up.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Getting the exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person, with new vehicles arriving every day. Your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
Back at Breese Stevens Field, procession underway. These two teams about to do battle. One spot in the USL League One final open to take for one of these two teams. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Madison Concourse Hotel. No changes for either side coming in, just to spoil it for you. Here's the starting lineup for Matt Glazer's side. Back four listed in the formation sent to us. It could shift to a back three. It looked more like a back three last week against the Charlotte Independents. It'll be a matter of how much does Stephen Payne end up playing forward in that regard. Meanwhile, for Spokane Velocity, as I said, no changes, and why would you change anything after a 3-0 road victory last weekend? A lot of names to highlight here, but in a game against this Forward Madison side that's so staunch defensively, you might just need a rocket to get fired, and Andre Lewis is the guy in that regard for Lee Wiedemann's side. Has that long distance boot. He may be a difference maker in this one offensively for this side, but also Luis Heel, a member of the all-first team this year, could be the man to make a play happen for Spokane. Of course, on the other side, Madison have got a couple of artisans of their own who can create a wonderful moment, including Devin Boyce, who is also a member of the all-league first team. We'll get a look at those at halftime, but that's so long away. We've got 45 minutes of soccer awaiting here for you. Our head official for this evening's match, Thomas Snyder. Madison in the black kit, Spokane in the white. And here we go. The second leg of the USL League One semifinals is underway. Who will take history by the reins here this evening? Will it be Forward Madison or Spokane Velocity? Both teams with a chance to make their first ever League One final. For Forward Madison, they've been waiting since 2019 to make this happen. For Spokane, they just want this first season to never end. Once again, we welcome you in. My name is Mark Schoenster, excited to be describing the action for you here at Bree Stevens Field. Should be a good one for you tonight. Forward Madison surely happy to find out the news that the Spokane Velocity team won last weekend, because it meant they were not going to have to go on the road to play the hailstorm. They were able to stay here in the confines of their home. But we saw what happened last week when the home team played Spokane Velocity. An assertive 3-0 victory on the road for the visitors. And so from their perspective, why not again? We do love getting the chance to have another game here at Bree Stevens Field. One of the legendary venues in USL League One, always bringing the hype and the energy. Matt Glazer himself said it's been a great atmosphere, and it was even better last weekend for the playoffs. Felt like more people were in than usual. He told me usually when the game starts, there's still people in line at the vendors getting food, but at the whistle last weekend, everyone was in their seats, and it looks like that may be the case here. A couple of stragglers still get to their spots, but over in the flock end, everyone's already located. There's a look at Matt Glazer and our keys to the game, brought to you by UBS. For Madison, Matt Glazer told me we have to be the protagonist in this game, make them uncomfortable, cannot get complacent or else they'll start to hurt them. Meanwhile, for Spokane Velocity, it's all about the spatial recognition, both offensively and defensively. Lee Wiedemann was telling me we have to usher them into spaces we're more comfortable with when we're defending. And on the offensive side of the ball, we need to know the spots where we can take risks and where we need to be careful, as this one's lobbed in and claimed by Brooks Thompson. Brooks Thompson, reigning USL League One champion with North Carolina FC. One of two members of that team that are here tonight. The other one, Garrett McLaughlin, starting on the bench this evening. We'll see if he'll get the chance to try and score on his former teammate in this game or not. 3-0 victory at home, or excuse me, on the road for Spokane against Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Head coach Lee Wiedemann, of course, in his first year in charge of the squad, helped build this program from the ground up. He felt it was an even game in the first half against the Hailstorm. Made some tactical tweaks at halftime. Notice there was some man-to-man covering in midfield of that game, so they started to pull them out of position. use the opposite winger to take in that central space. I mentioned we've done a great job recently coming into the playoffs of getting to the 18, but then they wouldn't have the numbers in the penalty area to get the job done. They had the numbers last week. They committed at the right times. And then, boy, was there a boom. 3 goals in the second half to create the stunning result of the weekend in USL League One. Here's Jimmy Villalobos. Sending this one over to the left-hand side for Eddie Sosa. Working on Javier Martinez. Gebhard picks up the pieces. Gebhard's cross deflected. And I'm gonna wait to see what the rest decision is, because it looked like Javier Martinez almost kept it in, but they're gonna say he didn't. So it will be a corner kick. Canopy Wealth Management is donating $50 to Forward Madison FC's mini pitch fundraising project for each home corner kick taken by Forward Madison FC. And Devin Boyce will be the first one to take a corner this evening. Derek Gebhardt waiting nearby in case they opt to play it short. Two hands up for Boyce. Ref gives the go-ahead. Driven service, headed upward and away. Still on the fray, bicycle kick, off target for Eddie Sosa. Was looking for the highlight reel play. Wouldn't that have gotten the crowd going? Even though it missed, it still adds a little juice of energy to the atmosphere, that's for sure. Gebhard tried to connect that one to Boyce. Jack Denton intervenes. Denton scoring his first professional goal last weekend. One-time hit in style to make it 3-0. Now Camarney Smith rolling it out to Martine Heel. Away on this occasion. Camarney Smith pushing and fighting. Maybe a little bit too much physicality there, knocking over Derek Gebhard from behind. Camarney Smith, 26 years old, Englishman, Crown Legacy FC of MLS Next Pro. Gebhard playing this one forward, rolls it out to Sosa. Eddie Sosa ripping in the cross, headed away by Miller, and then further booted out. These are two teams. I'd be curious to see how this game breaks down statistically, because these are two teams that both love having the ball. When you look at possession, when you look at passes, passing accuracy, passes in the opposing half, as Gebhard has this pass nearly connecting to Boyce. There's some fervent pressure here. Boyce, his cross, headed down by Lodge. As I was saying, possession, passes, passing accuracy, passing in the opponent's half, passing accuracy in the opponent's half. These two teams are in the top 3 in every single one of those categories. They both love having the ball, and they like pressing in and waiting until the defense cracks to find their opening and their opportunity. But both teams can't have the possession advantage in a single game. It's worth mentioning, since this game has gotten started, since we got this broadcast rolling, that a result in the other semifinal has been locked into place, and the Players Shield champions Union Omaha will be the hosts in the USL League One final. The Owls 2-1 victorious over the Greenville Triumph. An early goal from Greenville added some spice to the conversation, but a response in the first half, and then a second half game winner from Zico Lewis puts Don Casciato's side into the final. So if you're a fan, you tune into that game and are now watching to see who will meet them, we welcome you in. Who will be making that trip to Papillion, Nebraska? There's a set piece for Spokane. Nothing to come to that one. Into this one, Madison, definitely the side owning more of the possession and advantage. Need to make it to League One final for the first time. Of course, that's the situation for both these teams. Of course, Madison had been waiting a little bit longer to get that opportunity. They made it to the semifinals the first year of the existence of USL League One, but were bested on the road against North Texas. And they returned to the playoffs last year. It was a first-round exit on the road against the Hailstorm, and now here they are, after having won their first playoff game last weekend, are now hosting this semifinal. Boys, always so energetic by the ball. As it knocked out of his clutches. Meanwhile, of course, on the Spokane side of things, there's not a lot of history to tell about the team play-wise at this point. This is just their first year in existence. They've come in, they've really established themselves in this league, both, of course, on the pitch, having made it to the semifinals. It's no mere task, but also just culturally with crowd energy at One Spokane Stadium, the notoriety that they've already acclaimed for themselves across the league. A lot of nice things said about this program, the coaching staff by other coaches in this league. So they've earned respect in many fronts very quickly. Now they like to take that respect one tab further as this one's crossed in. Harmless at the end of things. Villalobos on the end of that ball. The Madison side, this has been a project 3 years in the making for Matt Glazer. As you see, it's been a jump every season that he has been at the helm of this program. Been a nice little 3 placement jump each season. Love a nice little pattern there. But every year, they've laid the groundwork, taken an extra step further, trying to get bigger and bigger every season and never settling. As Akale taps this one outside. It's back to Masango Akale. He's going across for Lewis. And that one well off target. Mentioned it when we looked at the lineups. Andre Lewis, shots from distance could be the key to goals being scored for Spokane in this game. Madison, so stubborn defensively. They're not going to give you a lot. So maybe you are going to have to find something from beyond the 18 to get the best of Bernd Shipman. But obviously, finishing 3rd place this year for Madison, that means the expectations are a little bit different for your side now. You're no longer that plucky underdog who's on the up and coming, which is what you could say about this Madison team these past 2 years in the first 2 seasons in the Matt Glazer era. But this season is different. Expectations, a talented roster. You've already made it to 1 cup final, the Jägermeister Cup. And Matt Glazer said, look, it's what you want to have though. The bar has to rise every year. You want to create an environment where each step is not enough. As Cheney tries to connect with Gebhard. You need to have that ambition. He said, look, we rebuilt everything to get here. We can't let those standards shift. He said, granted, though, all you can do is put yourself in a spot to have a chance to play in games like this. We've done that this year, which is great for us. So in a way, it's already a successful season for Forward Madison, and I would say it's a successful season already for Spokane Velocity, but who's gonna add another little bit of success here? Even if you could be happy with what you've done this year, doesn't mean you aren't driven to get some silverware. Too much contact there, and that'll result in a free kick. Mitch Osmond, the captain for Forward Madison, double teamed there. I had the chance to talk to Lee Viedman of Spokane earlier this week. Asked him if he just had a feeling, if he could tell that last week going into the game they were gonna find that kind of result. He gave me a very honest answer. He said, well, kind of just, it's two different things. It's what my gut tells me and what I see. He said, I'm gonna be honest with you, training all year has been good. Morale's been high in training all season, but the energy can be good, and then you go into a game and lose. It happens in the sport. It certainly happens in the USL. He said, but last week, something about the lead-in felt really good deep down. His gut was telling him that they had what it took to win that game and that they were gonna do it. He said, but that could get wiped out in a moment's notice once the game gets started. Luckily, of course, for Spokane last week, that was anything but the case. It's a Spokane team that Matt Glazer called resilient. A side that works hard, takes risks. Kroll down on the ground. Such a reliable player on this Madison team. He's played over 1,700 minutes this season in league play. Have a bloody nose. Kroll, Indiana man from Carmel, led the league in passes last year with nearly 2,000 of them. If you look at the Dairyland replay, hit in the face as that ball went up into the air. He's second in the league coming into the weekend this year in passes with just over 1,300, and that's with a smaller size of games played. See if they can patch this one up and send him on his way. Now the issue is sometimes once you get that bloody nose, you're gonna have to swap out your jersey unless they were able to stop it in time. So Lee Viedman inside. 7, 9, and 6 this year in league play, and then you tack on another win in the playoffs. It actually wasn't a bloody nose, he busted his lip. It's always very common to get hit in the nose in this sport, but in this case, it wasn't the situation. Looks like he got it pretty bad, though. So we'll wait to wave him back on. Glazer was telling me in a broad sense, Spokane is a team that's similar to us. If they get set up, they'll hurt you. Which is when he told me about how they need to be the protagonist in this game. No settling to make Spokane uncomfortable, which I'd say they've been pretty successful in early on in this match. Spokane has not had a lot of established possession in the attacking half. There's J. Kroll right there, making an intervention just moments after coming back on. Kudos to him. Andre Lewis trying to poke that one forward. Martin Heel gets that one away, but not to anybody of his liking. It's the first real spell that Spokane have had in this one to hold onto the ball and progress it forward. For what was the opening 15 minutes, that found Spokane on their heels defending for the most part. Now the whistle's blown by Thomas Snyder. It'll be a free kick for Madison. Jack Denton conversating with Thomas Snyder, giving some warnings there to the youngster. As I say, youngster liberally there, 25 years old, Jack Denton. First year as a pro, though. Akale running this one alongside Jimmy Villalobos. Sango Akale cutting in inward. Lovely ball forward. Pelias can't get there in time. It'll be a goal kick for forward Madison. Mitch Osmond incensed in the process. In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. Learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code, or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources they need to recover. Comes to this Madison team, Lee Veban was telling me on the attack, this Mingo team is incredibly fluid. They conjure up chaotic movement, he said. They'll have to close up the spots where Madison are particularly dangerous, usher them into areas where we're more comfortable defensively as Pelias has that ball escape him after jostling for it. Offensively, Vivian was saying, we need to know where we need to be careful with the ball and where we can start taking chances. Kroll scoring that one to Boyce. His touch went in the direction of Kristen Shaney. Nothing to come of it. Oh, it's such an energetic atmosphere here at Bree Stevens Field. For years, we've talked about just what it would be like for playoff games to be played here, and they finally put themselves in that position as a program to have these big games, first hosting the Jägermeister Cup semifinals, and then getting their first league playoff game just last week. And then they were rewarded with a second one here. Now the winner of this game, of course, will be going on the road to play the #1 team, Union Omaha. Of course, that's looking ahead. Now nothing separating these two sides. Madison with maybe the more promising moments, but nothing that has resulted in Brooks Thompson or Bernd Shipman. Two guys who have done some great things in this league, from needing to really get active and make a big play. And that change here. Already Sosa. Plays it back over to Murphy. Murphy takes a tumble, and it's going to be a free kick just outside the penalty area. Camarnie Smith bumping over John Murphy. Here's a look on the Dairyland replay. Trying to make the cut inside. Camarnie Smith impeding his progress there. Now is this Devin Boyce territory? Scored a banger of a goal against Spokane in their first ever meeting back in May. And that was over on the West Coast. See if he could curl up something wonderful here. The limelight's on Devin Boyce, and it's off the wall. Payne floats this one inside. Cheney with a turn. Christian Cheney still going. Now Murphy sends it to Kroll. Kroll whips in a ball. Headed down. A couple touches. Gets this one out of imminent danger for Spokane. So Devin Boyce not able to get that one past the established Spokane wall. Murphy scored a banger last time these two teams met. Mentioned the Devin Boyce goal in the first meeting, but John Murphy scored a goal of equal, if not better quality in the second meeting between these two sides. It was on that very goal that they're trying to score on now. Just led one rip from beyond the 18. Pick top bins. If I remember correctly, a one goal of the week, and deservedly so. Long ball forward. Cameron Miller knocking that one away to Derek Waldeck. This is fortuitous. Christian Cheney with the one-timer. Trying to catch Brooks Thompson off guard. A quick change in possession here. Luis Heel playing it back. And Christian Cheney trying to hit a flyer towards goal. Cheney with 6 goals this year in league play, 3 assists as well. He's had some magical moments in this Madison jersey. I'm sure he's hungry to get one onto the board here. Last week it was Boyce and Gebhard who scored for Madison. Cheney, of course, one of the popular goal-scoring targets for Madison, but this isn't a Madison team with just one guy who scores the goals. Really nobody in that Golden Boot conversation from Matt Glazer's side. They distribute the goal-scoring love pretty equally across many options. Check out all the exciting postseason action in November. The 2024 USL playoffs presented by Terminix showcase the top teams battling it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLLeague1.com for all the latest playoff information. Now you're watching the penultimate game of the League One playoffs, of course, USL Championship. Got a couple more games than that. Some former League One guys shining and having their moments, including one relative of Mukwele Akale for Tormenta Man, doing some disgusting things with New Mexico United. Devin Boyce Pulling this one up the right-hand side, Payne. Driving it centrally. Easy work there for Miller. This is where Madison loved to start getting those combinations going. Cheney turning. And he's intervened. 3 jerseys surrounding him for Spokane. Here's Masongo Akale. Sending Pelaez running. Anwar Pelaez waiting, squaring, and Mitch Osmond intervenes. The captain and candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, demonstrating just why he's a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. A dangerous moment for Spokane. And Mitch Osmond, right place to be to ensure it did not go across the middle and find Akale. Murphy plays it over to Kroll. He'll roll it to Gebhard. "30 minutes in, nothing separating these two sides." Sosa making the run to the left. Drives it over to Murphy. Lobos. Stephen Payne now on the perimeter. Domingos to figure out a way to sift through this Spokane block. Spokane just coming off of what was their brightest opportunity so far of the evening, if not for the work of Mitch Osmond. Murphy, it falls out of his lap. Cheney turning and shooting, and it glances off the ground and into the arms of Brooks Thompson. May have taken a deflection off of one of the defenders, but Christian Cheney collects the ball, makes a cut, and tries to let it fly. And here's the combinations I was talking about earlier. These Madison players are so good. Some of those tic-tac-toe combinations. Bear Insurance, a proud sponsor of Forward Madison FC, is based in Madison and has provided protection and peace of mind to businesses and individuals throughout the state of Wisconsin since 1928. Here's Akale working on Kroll. Masongo Akale, the outside of his boot. Luis Heel not in the same location. Not sure if he would have been able to get there even if he had continued his run in that direction. This one will roll over to the right-hand side. Stephen Payne lofting it forward. Always looking for that big man up top, Christian Cheney. Beginning of the broadcast, we highlighted some of those mid-season acquisitions that Lee Vietman and his staff have had to pick up. I've already seen a lot of Masongo Akale this evening. Anwar Pelaez combining with him. Another one of those guys that was added in this season. Brooks Thompson, the third, but you could also look at guys like Ish Jome or Azriel Gonzalez. Well, loanees from Hartford Athletic as well. And you would think if that was what was happening without seeing a record go just from a 1,000-foot view, you'd think, uh-oh, if this is their first year, that's what's happening. Perhaps something not very good is going on. But they just had some injuries, and they've had a good enough team that you want to bring in a guy to keep the ship going. Lee Veidman said it's been massive. And he said, we got to get people who fit into the club no matter when we add them, preseason, mid-season. This one, not kept in bounds. He told me their players have to be adaptable, they have to be humble, they have to be hungry, etc., etc. But even if they're out in the middle of the season, they have to check all the boxes. So you have to send a lot of kudos his way and to his staff for making it happen. Now, granted, a lot of these players, the staff were familiar with prior to the season starting. They had done their scouting work on them, with the exception of Masongo Akale, who, of course, becoming now notorious for the fact that he trialed with the team. They didn't know anything about him, and he impressed so much that the fans and players alike were telling Lee Veidman to sign that guy. And boy, has he made those urges and that performance well worth it. Electric player out on the wing for the Spokane Velocity team. Javier Martin Heel. He's trying to get back his way. Now, the pass all the way back to Bernd Shipman. German goalkeeper. Hasn't quite been asked to make a save yet in this one. Madison looking to give these fans something to chant about, as if they wouldn't chant already, but something to chant even more loudly and exuberantly about. Glazer has talked about just how welcoming this community has been to him and his loved ones. He says there are always people saying hi, asking about the team. He mentioned he sees jerseys in his neighborhood, and that they all know the team really well. He says it feels similar to when he was in Finland playing professionally. That smaller market, real homey vibe and connection that a location has to its club. So he's become very integrated in here and is very much appreciated just what this fan base and what this community in general gives back to this club. Devin Boyce bringing in that hot pass there. Now Stephen Payne. It's a lovely touch from Gebhardt. Derek Gebhardt dancing in traffic. Payne with the feed inside, but instead getting there is Lewis. And here's Akale with a lot of space to work with. Masongo Akale. Oh, how about that challenge from Mitch Osmond? That is textbook. The captain stepping up once again. That's a dangerous man to have in open space, Masongo Akale. And Mitch Osmond took that as a challenge, both literally and figuratively. Lovely ball through, Murphy to Cheney. A lot of tight spaces here. Boyce stabs it out. Murphy, back heel to Cheney. Deflects around a couple more times before rolling out of play. Should be for a goal kick. Promising moment there for Madison, but nothing to come of it. All right, we gotta look at this challenge again from Mitch Osmond. I mean, that's fantastic. Times it perfectly. Gets in on the ball exquisitely. I mean, the Australian in his third year with the program. has been not only such a pro, but such a leader on this Madison team. He's really grown in that leadership role this season in particular. I remember talking to Matt Glazer about him earlier this season, about how much he's flourished in that regard this year in particular. A fun one so far here. Of course, the home side fans bringing the energy, but I know that the Velocity faithful at the Flat Stick Pub are bringing the heat too. So shout out to all of you out there on the West Coast. As always, make sure you're tipping nicely to those serving you tonight. I hope you're having a good time there at that watch party. All right, well, we've talked a little bit about Mitch Osmond a couple of times in the game here this evening, and for good reason. He has stepped up and made some big plays. I already mentioned once, he's one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates, and he may be building up his case. How about that challenge? That's just one. And you know there are a couple others here as well. Here's Wasango Kale again. This was on that breakaway. This was a much-needed intervention from Mitch Osmond. Tracking back, getting in the way, and then, I mean, that's got to be the best one so far. Open space, gets the job done. And Mitch Osmond, member of the first team this year in USL League One. Just been a no-nonsense defender all season long. Gebhard, nice cut, squares it across. Cheney chipping it up. Derek Gebhard looking for it. Couldn't get there in time. Brooks Thompson claims the ball. Trying to go over the top, Christian Cheney. Here's a look on the Dairyland replay. Ultimately not a bad placing, but Marcelo Lage able to brunt the run a little bit there for Derek Gebhard. Here's Waldeck, sending this one forward, headed away by Kroll. Michael Chilaka. It does look like this Madison side is going with a back three as opposed to a back four. Stephen Payne and Freddy Sosa operating as those wing backs, which means Boyce, Villalobos, and Murphy operating in the middle of the pitch. You got Gebhard and Cheney playing up top. Gebhard will tuck underneath Christian Cheney for the most part. Boyce. Kroll. Tap this one back to Devin Boyce. Payne. That one glanced and will go out for a corner kick. Stephen Payne. He's quick with his feet over there on that right-hand side. Second-year man here in Ford Madison. Though he did play with the Richmond Kickers the year prior to that, so pretty familiar name in the USL League One ranks. Canopy Wealth Management corner kick for the home side. Jacob Kroll. Here's the ball. And that one doesn't make contact with anybody and will roll out on the opposite end. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Already Sosa. A guy who, it's about 50-50 this year whether he starts or comes off the bench. And talking to Matt Glazer about shifting and tweaking the 11s, starting 11 that is, throughout the season, how his guys have been adaptable to that. We'll hold on that thought as Kamari Smith takes it over to the right channel. Poked away by Michael Chilaka. He's another one of those players who fit into that category of guys who have started, come off the bench at times this year. He's getting a starting look here. Javier Martinho, lovely ball inside. And Bert Shipman able to get on the bottom of it. This is a Madison team that, despite changes in personnel and light tweaks to the formation throughout the season, they've always looked very good on the pitch. And Matt Glazer was telling me that we've trained these guys in different shapes, groups, positions throughout the year to help them learn how to communicate, problem solve, and just understand the different tendencies of teammates, no matter what group of players you're playing around. So you see just 1 minute getting tacked on here before the end of the half. All that is to make sure there's no freak out when there is a change in the starting 11. Kroll. Gonna go forward with it. Now we'll do so to Sosa. Stoppage time brought to you by Just Coffee Co-op as Derek Gebhardt inside the 18. Gebhardt still going with it, takes a shot, and it glances, and then makes its way to Brooke Thompson once again. Brooks Thompson gonna make a couple of stops here. Nothing too spectacular, but he's had to keep his head on a swivel, stay light on his feet. He's 22 years old. Gebhardt playing that one ahead. And after 45 plus, nothing separating these two sides in this semifinal bout. 0-0 between Forward Madison and Spokane Velocity going into the break. Several players have had moments, but nothing of too significant danger due to some lovely interventions defensively and also some solid defensive work in general from one side or the other. So that means it is scoreless at the break. And although for the next 15 or so minutes there won't be football on the pitch, we've got a lot of football to talk about on ESPN Plus. So stay locked in here. We'll see you after this break. 0-0 between Forward Madison and Spokane Velocity in this semifinal.
Tomorrow, we've been expecting you. At TrueStage, we've been preparing for tomorrow for almost a century, helping businesses give their customers, members, and clients what they need to move forward with confidence. Because for us, the future brings possibility, protection, innovation, growth. With financial solutions across insurance, investments, and technology, the people you serve can take on tomorrow, today. So what are you waiting for? Tomorrow, here we come.
It's an S.
Not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa.
Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Da, 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 da. Justicia.
Justice.
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 Justice from the ground out. Justice from the ground out.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
I've always been a storyteller. I capture those beautiful moments, things other people miss. My health took an unexpected turn. but my care team put my needs in focus, designing solutions to support my ambitions. Now that's just a footnote in my journey, a small part of a story that's still being written. UW Health, remarkable.
Halftime here on the Just Coffee Co-op halftime show. 0-0 after 45 minutes between Fort Madison and Spokane Velocity. While these two teams were able to make it to the semifinals, there was also Greenville and Omaha who made it in that regard. So let's take a look at the highlights from last weekend's USL League One quarterfinals.
For Payne, Boyce making the overlap towards Cheney, bounces for Gebhard! Forwards Madison off and running! And it's the long-time Mingo, Derek Gebhard, who opens the scoring. Onto his left, stopped temporarily, brought down in the box, penalty given! In here from 12 yards, and it's into the back of the net! Forward Madison are moving on!
This one slips through for Evan Lee! And the Greenville Triumph open the scoring! And it's the long-time Greenville man, Evan Lee, finding the back of the net. He's looking smooth with the ball at his feet. And he goes down. Now, where did this foul take place? It's a point to the spot. Tequila scores. 1-1 here in the quarterfinal. Leo Castro taking it forward. Castro still going. He's taken down. Ryan McKinnon. He's done it. The Greenville Triumph have the lead once again. And the Golden Man continues to shine this season.
Turning and facing Goliath, bouncing ball, rolling, shot! Wow! Surprise, surprise, Spokane! Over to Javier Martin Hill, put the moves on his defender, crossing in, shot! Wow, again! Denton crossing over the middle, opts to go with him, shot! What a strike! Jack Denton has just pulled a rabbit out of his hat in northern Colorado!
Schenfeld, good service, Terzaghi, off the board, and again! 2 chances for Richmond. Somehow neither break the deadlock. Here goes Omaha. Kunga with Lewis. Kunga to Lewis. Zico Lewis, back to Kunga! End to end, Omaha leads! And what a good time that was last weekend. And here's a look at the Flat Stick Pub in Spokane, Washington. Shout out to all the fans there. It's a packed house. Shout out to the 509 Syndicate and all of those who support the Spokane Velocity. Hope you're having a good time. And now we'll see you after this break. Youth news and notes upcoming.
Yeah. Get it. Get it. Should've got a dog.
When mice show up, so do we. Terminix it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I
kept it pushing and busting and moving and running and shaking and hustling. My competition be mad at themselves because they keep on falling down and struggling. They know I'm the man. I'm just showing out. I keep it real. Yeah, that's what I'm about.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
It's an S.
Not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce. I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know? I can juggle. Just it. Justicia. Justice. 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 Justice from the ground. Justice from the ground up.
Back here for the Just Coffee Co-op halftime show. 0-0 after the break. We still got some more halftime content for you here on ESPN Plus, starting with the news and notes from around the league in USL League One and the USL in general. Of course, we've been talking about what this matchup means. Madison and Spokane looking for their first ever appearance in the USL League One final. Meanwhile, another team joining the League One party. Shout out to the state of Boise as they are looking to build a new stadium and bring in a club into the United Soccer League landscape. And then, of course, we're here at the end of the year, which means it's award season. We've got some all-time awards being offered up: Defensive Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Player of the Year, etc. And they just revealed this past week the all-league teams. First off, the second team as far as this matchup is concerned, just Jimmy Villalobos making an appearance. Now, worth noting, there are 12 teams, all of which have some high-quality players. Meanwhile, on the first team, though, a couple more faces from this game to look at. Devin Boyce and Mitch Osmond for Forward Madison. Meanwhile, Luis Heel, who has been such an offensive weapon and leader for this team for Spokane Velocity, also getting in there on the action. A couple other shout-outs on this list, of course, Lion McKinnon and JC Obregon, who both were at the neck and neck in the Golden Boot race. As we look at the semifinal score, we're brought to you by Electric E-Bikes. We talked about in the first half, 2-1 in favor of the Players' Shield champions, which means Union Omaha will be the hosts of the final next weekend. But who will join them in that regard is still entirely up in the air between these two sides. As we see how this bracket has shaken up, brought to you by Terminix, the 1 seed, getting the job done 2 games in a row. Will Madison, as the higher-seeded team for a second straight week, get the job done against Spokane? Or will the underdogs make it happen again this weekend? Only one way to find out, and that's to stay locked in right here on ESPN+. Brace Stevens Field, super energized in the first half. Let's see if they'll bring the heat, and if Madison will give them a reason to cheer, or Spokane will deafen the crowd in the second half. 0-0 your scoreline. Let's see if there's anything different in that regard after 45 more minutes up next.
Getting the exact vehicle you want is easy at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton. Come in and sit down with one of our sales professionals and build the Volkswagen you want. Pick all the features, order it, and then sit back and relax, knowing you're getting your dream vehicle. The best things in life are worth waiting for after all. Check out our selection online or in person, with new vehicles arriving every day. Your perfect Volkswagen could already be waiting for you at Zimbrick Volkswagen of Middleton.
It's an S.
not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin. Justicia.
Justice.
Justice. Justice.
Justice
from the ground. Justice from the ground up.
Come see how Dairyland fits your life. With affordable car insurance that fits your budget. And 24/7 customer service that fits your schedule. Even if you have coverage lapses or a bumpy driving history, we've got you covered. For 70 years, we've been helping people just like you get the car insurance they need. So why wait? Contact Dairyland today.
Second half impending here between Forward Madison and Spokane Velocity. They're watching on ESPN Plus, the USL League One semifinal. One more spot in the final on the line. One of these two teams has to go and claim it. After 45 minutes, neither side could find the edge in that regard, but that doesn't mean we were short of chances. As we take a look at the first half highlights here. Madison, early on in the game, were pressing, holding the ball deep and trying to find an opening and find that early goal. They were unsuccessful in that regard. Then Spokane started to grow into the game a little bit. But at the end of things, it was Madison who ended up holding more of the ball, asking more of the questions. As we see here, an opportunity that was knocked away and dealt with nicely. And then Luis Heel with a rare mistake, giving the ball back to Forward Madison. Christian Cheney with the flyer, wouldn't go on target. And then we'd see this moment, one of a couple of big plays in this one by Mitch Osman, interjecting, getting in the way, stepping on that pass from Anwar Pelaez, looking to return it to Masango Akale. And this would be a moment, a little tic-tac-toe there between, that was Derek Gebhardt and John Murphy. Christian Cheney's shot would get scuffed, and find ourselves here. Halftime stats presented by Rhyme. These are two teams that love having possession, but only one of them could really enjoy it in the first half, and that was Forward Madison, 62%. That's majorly in their favor. So when it comes to the be protagonist game plan that Matt Glazer wanted his side to go in with, they have succeeded in that regard. They have more shots on target, and yet it's Spokane who actually have the edge as far as expected goals are concerned. That's really the only contrary statistic that goes in favor of the visitors. But the fact of the matter is it's 0-0. And so any given moment, the edge could teeter one way or another. It doesn't even have to be through long sustained possession and buildup. Bad pass, one simple mistake could make the difference in this one. 45 more minutes on the docket here in the USL League One semifinals. Two teams switch ends, and here at Bree Stevens Field, it gets a little bit colder. Into low 50s, which ultimately isn't the worst at this time of the year. It's certainly doable, playable. But it is a far cry from the blistering summer heat that we know all too well in USL League One. Smoke bomb set off, and Bree Stevens atmosphere once again in full force and full effect. Marnie Smith sifting it inside for Heel. Couldn't quite bring that one in. That clearance going off the head of Jack Denton, and as one would expect, the whistle blows. Always have to be careful when it comes to head contact. I know everybody looks at American football as the primary sport where that's of concern, but football, the world sport football, is also one you have to pay attention to that sort of thing, not because people are full-on tackling each other, but when you get hit in the head with a ball that's going at a high speed, that can rattle you a little bit. Jack Denton, all good to go. Still clear of mind. Sosa taken to the ground. Check that, Derek Gebhardt. Kamari Smith on the challenge. No substitutions for either side coming out of the break. These are two teams that did not change their lineups at all from last weekend, which wouldn't expect too much change when you're able to win a playoff game. It's a big win against another good team, and now look to try to replicate that one weekend later. Villalobos holding on to the ball right now. Solid midfielders for this Ford Madison side, Boyce. Couldn't bring that one in. Kale. Pulls this one back to Andre Lewis. There's the Spokane team looking to make some more history this evening. This ball ripped inside, deflected up and out for a goal kick. Spokane looking to be the first club to win a postseason match in their first season since 2019, which is already an awkward situation because that was the inaugural year. So that meant that any team that won a playoff game that year, which obviously you're guaranteed to have two teams win a playoff game, we're going to accomplish that. But since then, it has not happened. Now Omaha had their opportunity taken away the year later due to precautions, the COVID-19 outbreak, putting the postseason on hold. Spokane, since those first two seasons of interesting caveats, are the first expansion team to win in their first year. Villalobos rotates this one out. Kroll fires. That one, a couple of stories too high. Good to see Kroll doing all right after busting his lip in the first half. It's certainly an issue that is always noticeable when you bust your lip, and you're always dealing with it, but it certainly doesn't inhibit you from playing the sport at all. So we talked a little bit about this coming into this second half, about how who this game favors can switch and seesaw in a given moment. Lee Viedman told me himself, he said, look, it's a transition league. One bad pass can result in punishment. And he mentioned both our side and Madison actually, in a way, learned that lesson against Northern Colorado, the team that was so good at punishing in those moments. Mentioned we're gonna need to be very smart about when we have the ball, but also know when we can counter press at the right moment to create those kind of opportunities in our favor. Sometimes the best time to win the ball is the moment after you lose it. As these two teams settle in here to the second half, curious to see just how different these two sides go about their attacking and their possession. Although Madison had the advantage significantly in possession, it didn't result in Brooks Thompson ever having to sprawl out and make a big save. At this point, it's just one shot on target for either team. Spokane. This one back to Chilaka. Slowly working their way forward, Madison. Villalobos. See some pressing here from Anwar Pelaez, the striker who was added in the middle of the season. Took him a while to get acclimated fitness-wise. Really started to make his presence known recently. Sosa working on Smith. Camardi Smith does well to deny entry, but it will go out for a corner kick. NIP Wealth Management is donating $50 to Forward Madison's mini pitch fundraising project for each home corner kick taken by Forward Madison FC. The boys took the first corner kick of the evening in the first half, and he'll do so again here. This one dipping down, nearly connecting with Osmond. Jack Denton. Get some contact there from John Murphy, and John Murphy upset at the decision. Let's take a look at that one again. I don't look like you get any of the ball there. Came in late. Up to this point, knock on wood, no bookings. Of course, I've now said it, so let's just wait to see how long that one sits in the ether. There's another challenge right there. Free kick for Spokane, and the boos follow from the home crowd. Official Thomas Snyder refereed the quarterfinal between Greenville and Knoxville last weekend. Smith tapping it back to Lewis. Now Denton sending it over to Derek Waldeck. Waldeck, a guy who likes to get out across, but hasn't had the opportunity to do so here in this one. Jimmy Villalobos rolling it ahead to Murphy. Now Boyce has it. Boyce, another one of those players who very light on his feet. Will sway back and forth with the ball at his toes. Very careful to maintain possession here, Madison. This is a roster that's been built in a very particular way by Matt Glazer. He said at the higher levels, you have more ability to strategically build your roster as far as the player type that you want and looking for. Gebhard combining with Sosa here. Derek Gebhard can't get past Javier Martin Heel. Martin Heel, why not keep going with it? They'll play this one out to the right-hand side. Smith inside to Heel. Elise Heel hasn't had the opportunity to do much operating in this game. Denton rolling it out to Waldeck. Back up to Denton. Denton winds up for a shot, and that one well off target. Jack Denton letting that one fly. Scored his first professional goal last weekend. And actually, that shot suffered a deflection, so it's a corner kick. Spokane with the opportunity on the set piece. Derek Waldeck. Looking to see if he can put in a peach of a ball. That one skipping through. Here's the volley. Off target once again. An opportunity there for the center back, Cameron Miller. Unsuccessful in his endeavor, though. Denton pushing this one ahead. Jack Denton squaring it across. Lewis out to Smith. Kamarni Smith has to chase his touch. Smith once again rifles that one. Couple appeals for offside as it bounced off Pelaez. And now a foul will be called. This one in favor of Jake Kroll, who goes to ground. We're gonna get our first substitution of the evening. Let's see what these coaches have schemed up personnel-wise. So Josh Dulling is going to come into the game, and he's going to sub in for Luis Heel. So Luis Heel, the captain, whom I mentioned just moments ago, has not been particularly active in this game or involved. He'll step out, and Josh Dulling will step in. This is a guy who, for most of the season, was playing in a starting role for this Spokane team, but has recently started becoming an off-the-bench player. But Lee Veidman told me that Dulling has been doing what he'd hope anybody on the team would do in that scenario. He's worked hard every day and hasn't changed. Mentioned he channels perhaps the frustration that comes with now being on the bench to start games. He's channeled that anger in the right way. Has continued to be a key member of the squad. Felt he had an impact last week when he came on as a sub, and they're putting a lot of trust in him now to come in and be that off-the-bench impact. Donning the captain's armband in the process. It is certainly interesting to see Luis Heel come out of the game and see the discussion he had with Lee Veidman as he made his exit. Denton rolling it up ahead. Pelaez trying to get past Michael Chilaka. Chilaka, the 24-year-old center back, was up for the task there. Another corner kick ensuing now. Derek Waldeck once again at the right corner flag. Now there's a hold. Shipman, Cameron Miller, company, conversating with Thomas Snyder. Cameron Miller at 6'4", certainly trying to block the vision of his 6'4" counterpart in Bernd Shipman. Is it a set piece that could break the deadlock in this game? Derek Gebhard sending it inside for Lodge. He made a piece of it, but it's knocked away. The first big moment in the second half. Spokane starting to pick up some steam. Akale playing it forward for Pelaez once again. Chilaka doing well to shield him off. A little chest bump after the fact. Thomas Snyder, not to keep the peace, he talks to both parties. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest select products, specials, and more. Select the player's choice. Over 60 minutes through. Nothing to separate these two sides, but Marcelo Lage with the header on the corner kick. One of the best chances of the night thus far. But it's dealt with by Madison. And it's still goose eggs on the score sheet because of it. Quickly thrown in by Kroll. This is a roster maybe a little bit more shallow in depth as far as how many players are in it for Madison. But this is a team that's got a lot of great options coming off the bench. They're very deep as far as impact players on the bench. But just by sheer number, they don't have as many players. Matt Glazer said, I mean, it's a decision that we made. At this level, our pool of selection is smaller, and we opted to locate guys who are productive at this level and have an adaptable mentality. So that's why it's a smaller roster. It's an older roster. As Martin Heel tried to connect inside. And that'll be a foul on Kimarni Smith. He's been guilty of a couple of fouls here this evening. Thomas Snyder, though, has, up to this point, kept his hand out of the pocket. John Murphy with some grievances to air. Payne plays this one back to Mitch Osman. Gebhardt rolling over to the left. Stephen Payne working on Waldeck. Payne can't get the cross away. Now the contact warrants a free kick for Spokane. So we will get some changes for that deep bench from Matt Glazer, and it's two offensive weapons. Garrett McLaughlin and Wolfgang Prentice coming into the match. So Jimmy Villalobos, getting some water there actually. That was a note being given from Garrett McLaughlin to Villalobos. Some tactical changes from the coaching staff as Wolfgang Prentice and Garrett McLaughlin come into the game. Wolfgang Prentice has, at points this year, been an impact substitution as that note got passed around a couple times. John Murphy now stuffing it into his sock. Make sure that one doesn't slip out. Garrett McLaughlin, that other player who won the USL League One title last year and is now looking to score against his former teammate, Brooks Thompson. These are your Festival Foods substitutions. So Gebhardt and Payne make way for Prentice and McLaughlin. Add some more juice to the attack, Matt Glazer. These are two guys who've proven they can do it at this level. Kale giving that one away to Boyce. Boyce will parry this one all the way back to back three for forward Madison. And this one lob well overhead for Eddie Sosa. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Prentice, the substitute. Playing that one out to the right-hand side for Sosa. Now Boyce, cutting inside. Devin Boyce still with it. Back out to Sosa. Sosa with the cross, bending inside. And the header from McLaughlin. A little too much air underneath it. Madison working that ball around on the outside. Sosa finds the avenue to cross it in. And awaiting Garrett McLaughlin, making his first contact with the ball this evening. Mitch Osmond feeling that it came off of Pelaya's last, but I say the captain tapped the ball out of play. Osmond just gets that one away. A lot of pressure there. Prentice pushing this one up ahead. Was fishing for McLaughlin. Murphy to Boyce. Opportunity working here. Sosa across the middle. And it deflects out of play. A look on the Dairyland replay. Madison inching closer. That one deflecting around a couple defenders, out for Canopy Wealth Management corner kick. Jake Crow will take it over on this right-hand side. Saw for a spell of time, momentum favoring the velocity, but it swung back around in favor of Madison. They'll play it short. Here comes Kroll's service. Chilaka just missed it. He rose up high for it. Now transition opportunity for Spokane. Pelaez goes running, but so does Christian Cheney. He didn't quite get that one right. The ref says play on. I don't think Christian Cheney got much of the ball there. And then a frustration foul from Josh Dulling. And that will be our first yellow card, and it's to a substitute. Christian Cheney down on the ground after that one. On first look, it did not look like Christian Cheney on the challenge got much of the ball when tracking down Anwar Pelaez. But ref said fair play. A pretty close look at it. And then perhaps a frustration foul after the fact from Josh Dulling puts him into the books. He might have gotten a piece of the ball there. It wouldn't have been a lot of it. And then, I mean, that one's clearly a foul. Christian Cheney ailing a little bit. Mitch Osmond, though, saying to not sub him out of the game. Juan Galindres is probably itching to get into the match, and that would definitely be the most likely change should Cheney get subbed out. Sosa up ahead for McLaughlin. McLaughlin's in a corner, 2 bodies on him, but he does so well there to win the corner kick. Jake Kroll will hop his way over there. Canopy Wealth Management corner kick for Forward Madison. 2 teams that so far have been stubborn in this game defensively. Kroll. His ball floating over to Marcelo Lage. Now Prentice with a second service. And Andre Lewis does away with it. Sosa playing this one up ahead. Miscommunication. Now Denton playing that one for Pelias. Bernd Shipman waits for it in the penalty area and scoops it up. A rough exchange there between Christian Cheney and Devin Boyce. Spurns an opportunity to counter, but nothing to come of it. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Osman slicing that one over to Sosa. Already Sosa, still going with it. A little bit loose on that touch. Got away from him. Denton will play this one out. Javier Martin heel. Only seen 1 long distance effort from Andre Lewis very early in the game. Perhaps there's another one in store before this one's all said and done. Andre Lewis, a guy who's 3rd in the league in passes with 1,261 coming into the weekend. And that counts last week's game too. Akale. Just out of his clutches, but he'll retain the hold of Spokane here. That one going by everybody. Still no shots on target after 75 minutes for Spokane. Bernd Shipman has not had to make a direct stop. Javier Martin heel. Taps it inside. Smith to Denton. Masango Akale, nice ball through to Derek Waldeck. Waldeck across the center! And Doling, oh so close. It was the right idea, and he was making the right run, but the timing, not quite on the spot. Another moment of life there for Spokane. And we're getting to the point here now, with about 14 minutes of the 90 left to go, that a goal really puts intense pressure on the opposition. But will either side find that goal here? Villalobos. Scurrying it over to Jake Kroll. His cross goes inside. 2 players were searching for it. Sosa in the penalty area. Derek Waldeck doing well there to block any sort of cross, but another corner kick. That's another element to this conversation, is how aggressive will these two teams be as time winds away. Surely both sides would love to settle this in regulation, but to what extent do you risk it? How much do you start committing more bodies forward, making more runs, at the expense of potentially getting exposed on the back end? Boyce with the cross. Now Sosa lets it fly. That one well off target for the veteran. Freddie Sosa, guy who won the League One title with Union Omaha, who are back in the final once again. 3 changes coming for Lee Wiedemann. Colin Fernandez, Ish Jome, Nazriel Gonzalez, all subbing in. And we're also going to see Juan Galindrez. And another sheet of paper with tactical changes. Now the question is, will he come in for Christian Cheney, or will they do that double big striker combination that they have done at times this year? And that is exactly what they're going to do. John Murphy exits, and Juan Galindrez comes in on this festival food substitution. Juan Galindrez, maybe one of the OG super subs in USL League One history. He's certainly the man who became famous for dramatic late game goals when he was with Chattanooga, including scoring a playoff winner against North Texas a couple years back. So when we talk about flair for the dramatic, Christian Cheney, excuse me, Juan Galindrez has that in spades. Christian Cheney's had a couple dramatic goals in his career too, though, with Forward Madison. Three changes for Lee Wiedemann, Ish Jome, Colin Fernandez, and Nazriel Gonzalez all stepping in. Perhaps one of those three could be a difference maker here. Chanting and the drumming and the cheering has not ceased here for 80 minutes in Breese-Stevens Field. That home field advantage, oh so crucial, as both of these teams can boast of the home atmosphere that they provide to league play. Jome with the turn, rolls it back to Waldeck. Lewis has that one taken away. Can Madison spring forward? Juan Galindrez with fresh legs. Turning. And ultimately had that one jarred loose. This one rolling out wide. Gonzalez. Wolfgang Prentice over there. Gonzalez once again. Another one of those mid-season additions for the Spokane Velocity side, along with Ish Jome. Here's Jome now. Hernandez back out wide to Waldeck. They're a game breaker here. Fernandez up ahead to Jome. Ish Jome back across the center, juggling, Could it go in? A prime opportunity for Spokane. Here's a look again. Chested and fired by Anwar Pelaez, but it was well bodied. Andre Lewis also almost getting onto the end of that one. Couple of bodies there in the fray. And we just caught wind of the attendance. 4,495 fans. Another great energy, great atmosphere here at Breese Stevens Field. There's also a cow here too. Shout out Rose Cowbell. Galindrez. That one knocked away from him once again. Ishjom pushing it up the pitch. Patient with the ball. Gets it away to Waldeck. To reiterate, these are two teams who have never been to the USL League One final. Forward Madison, having played in every year of USL League One. Spokane, having only played this year in USL League One. So a team that's been there from the start, and a team in its opening season doing battle here. Joam has the ball. Joam squares it across the middle. And Andre Lewis was looking to get on the end of it. And that was a rough collision with Jimmy Villalobos. And the ref will stop play. Let's take a look at that collision once again on the Dairyland replay. Meeting of two approaching the ball. And although it's certainly not trademark Wisconsin cold, still chilly, right around 50 degrees now. Contact like that just hurts a little bit more when the temperature drops. Run around at this point. Jimmy Villalobos has been running for 45 minutes, a break, and then another 40 minutes here. Got that tightness in your breath already. Evan Boyce taking a foul there. It'll be a free kick for Madison once more. Saw at halftime. The All-League second team and All-League first team, Devin Boyce and Mitch Osmond, a member of that first team, along with Luis Heel. And then Jimmy Villalobos on that second team. There's three members of those 211s for Forward Madison that are still on the pitch right now. The one honoree for Spokane, having made his leave here in the second half. Prentice will let that roll out for a corner kick. Minutes ticking away here in regulation. Devin Boyce trying to get that ball set just right here on the Canopy Wealth Management corner kick. Boyce serves it in over everybody's head. And Kroll tried his best to keep it in play, but unsuccessful in that endeavor. Both sides exchanging blows. Some big opportunities for Spokane. not capitalized on. So Madison with a rebuttal. But nothing to come of it. Thompson sends it away. Javier Martin-Heel turning about, but Juan Galindres getting the better of him. Cheney turns. Cheney gets fouled, and that's an easy yellow card. Marcelo Lage goes into the book. Makes the tactical decision. He smelled danger, and so he made the decision he needed to make there. He'd been beat. He knew Cheney and Galindres were making a run towards the penalty area. So kudos to him for taking one for the team there. But now he is on a yellow card. Devin Boyce, good distance from goal. Thinking about just how to deliver a lovely ball for one of his teammates to get on the end of. Rowdy Mingo fans continue to bring the noise. As one of their stars, Devin Boyce, awaits on this ball. Here's his service, and Lage heads it away. Dealing with the set piece he created. Thompson, it's still in the area, but he was fouled in the process. Couple of tall bodies around Brooks Thompson as he went over for that ball. Some big targets for forward Madison. A little too eager to make contact with the goalkeeper. Josh Dulling, early second half substitute, taking over the captain's duties from Luis Heel. It's been a very busy game for Ferretti Sosa for Madison. A lot of looks on the ball, been very involved. See the fourth official adding 3 minutes more. Unless there's a stoppage time winner here. We've got extra time on the docket. But it's 3 minutes for one of these teams to take the bull by its horns. And it ends up being a goal kick here as it goes off of Sosa last. Stoppage time brought to you by Just Coffee Co-op. Either side has been able to break through. We've already seen a minute of those three wind by and wind away. Jome will try to bring this one down. Needs some backup though. 2-on-1 right now, but Jome fending for his own despite that. Lots of pressure, lots of colliding. And now it'll be a free kick. A yellow card brandished to Jome. That's now 3 yellow cards that have been given to Spokane Velocity, 0 for forward Madison up to this point. Yellow card brought to you by Dairyland. Jome. Last played with San Antonio FC, USL Championship. 18 appearances, 2 assists last year for the USL Championship club. Cheney shrugs off one defender. The second one gets the best of him. I believe that was Colin Fernandez who was able to knock it out of his way. "30 more seconds to go. Spokane looking to be the ones to have the last opportunity before that whistle sounds. Just 10 more seconds, and perhaps we won't even get a moment. These two teams have fought and scraped for 90+ minutes. And we're gonna get 30 more here at Breese Stevens Field. The final game here in Madison in this 2024 year. And the fans have been rewarded with some bonus soccer. One of these teams will be moving on to the USL League One final. But after 90 minutes, nothing separating these two sides, which means extra time is necessitated to see if a difference can be settled. If this were your average match, this would be the first result Spokane have gotten against Forward Madison since the Mingos won the first 2 fixtures. The winner of this game will play Union Omaha in the USL League One final. So let's actually take a trip over to Papillion, Nebraska to get you the highlights from that first game in case you didn't tune in on ESPN Plus earlier today. It was the 1 seed Union Omaha hosting the 4 seed Greenville Triumph. And this is how it all went down. Early on in this one, in the 8th minute, for the 2nd straight week in a row, Tyler Pollock to Evan Lee into the back of the net, give the visitors the 1-0 lead early. But then in the 42nd minute, it's Aaron Gomez who bests Gunther Rankenberg to tie the game up before the halftime break. He celebrates with the fans over there, the Parliament. And then in the second half, Zico Lewis gets by Brandon Fricke and scores the game-winning goal in the 58th minute. 2-1 to the Owls as they punch their ticket to the USL League One finals and secure one more home game, the most important home game of the season. But who will they be playing? I'm sure there are some Union Omaha fans tuning in. Congratulations to you and your club for making it to that final game. I'm sure they're eager to see just who they'll be up against. This is a Union Omaha team that probably wants to play Spokane because this season in particular, Forward Madison's had the better of Union Omaha. It's a series that Madison has the edge. 1 win and 2 draws this season as we now take a peek at the stats from this game. Once again, possession in favor of Forward Madison. Just a couple more shots, just 1 on target in this game. But if you look at the expected goals, now again, you take XG with a grain of salt. Sometimes it can indicate how a game looks, and sometimes it doesn't really tell the story. But it's very interesting how it looks in this one because right now Forward Madison is at 0.36. Meanwhile, Spokane velocity is at 1.1 expected goals. So through the offensive opportunities that these two teams have had, XG suggests that at this point in the game, Spokane should have a goal, and I think one of the big contributors to that 1.1 is that big moment in the second half where Anwar Pelaez got the ball just at the top of the 6 and was juggling. Couldn't quite get a shot on target there. It was blocked away by defenders. So now both sides will get themselves established for 2 15-minute periods. Set themselves up on one end, and then they'll flip to the other. So Ford Madison for this first 15 minutes will be shooting towards the flock end. Could it be in these first 15 minutes that they set this place ablaze? Will it be the plucky road team Spokane Velocity to break a ton of hearts here, over 4,000 of them? And that's not counting the fans at home watching. And of course, with every heart broken is an exhilarated and joyous fan over in Spokane. Actually, that'll be in the second period that Madison will be shooting against the flock end. Now we just await for the go-ahead from Thomas Snyder, as both teams are itching to get this one going once again. We've got bonus soccer here in the USL League One semifinals. Can Spokane or Madison find the edge here? Pelaez, out the gate he shoots, off target. Trying to break into the scoring early here in extra time. Anwar Pelaez looking for that first shot on target for Spokane this evening. Still not to beat. Now the captain ailing a little bit, Mitch Osmond. He's gonna look to jog it off. As we get into this point in the game where we're gonna go up to 120 minutes played, the discussion becomes more about willpower than it is as much tactics. Like, surely you want to keep your form, you want to keep playing your style, but exhaustion just starts to set in. Maybe you don't commit to a run that you'd usually commit to. Who can keep that motor going? Who can keep pushing? Prentice. Substitutes, has fresher legs than most. Ball comes in for Cheney. Christian Cheney and Cameron Miller both diving for that one. A dangerous moment in several angles. Cheney trying to hit the back of the net, but also nearly heads colliding there. Cameron Miller got a piece of it, so a corner kick here for Madison. Boyce serves it in, headed away by Pelaez. Villalobos, rotated back out to Boyce. Boyce's ball dipping down, headed away by Jome. Anwar Pelaez sends Josh Dolling running. Josh Dolling into the penalty area, slips up. There were 3 Madison players all swarming towards him. It was going to be a tall order for him to get a shot off there. Javier Martin Hill lets that one go out of play for Spokane throw. So a couple of big moments here to start out extra time. That is a sign of how this extra 30 minutes is going to be. Two teams that have been pretty careful throughout regulation might find it opening up as time continues to wear away. Mitch Osmond's back on the turf after getting walked over by Anwar Pelaez. And at this stanza of the match, you go to the ground, it's just that much harder to get back up. These guys are professionals. They take care of their bodies and try to put themselves in a spot where they are operating at the peak of what the human body can do. But even with that in mind, they're accustomed to playing about 90 minutes, going very hard for 90 minutes, and then it being done, typically. Especially when you add in the extra tension and emotional toll that a playoff game has. It just makes it all the more exhausting, and then you have to play another 30 minutes. Good grief. Looks like Timmy Mel has been a reliable starter for a lot of this year for Matt Glazer. He's getting ready to come in for Mitch Osmond if the worst has been determined. Okay, he's still hobbling. Oh, Mitch Osmond is begging to not be subbed off here. He's talking to Matt Glazer, the captain and the coach. Play will go on for now. Timmy Mel has not been subbed into the match. Wolfgang Prentice sends in a ball. Was looking for Cheney again. This one falls to McLaughlin. Back for Boyce! Devin Boyce with a rocket over the crossbar. A window of opportunity there. McLaughlin lays it off nicely. Boyce hits it on the bounce. Wasn't to be. And now Mitch Osmond is going to get subbed out of this game. He made some key plays in the first half in particular. The captain gave it his all for over 90 minutes. Picking up a knock. We'll opt to go to Timmy Mel on this festival food substitution. Timmy Mel from Manhattan Beach, California, his second year with the club. 17 starts this year in league play for forward Madison. So it is certainly not a well-seasoned player. Well, it certainly is a well-seasoned player, I should say. It's not someone who's green, who's subbing into the game. It's a very reliable option coming off the bench for Matt Glazer. Galindrez, now it's out to Prentice. Wolfgang Prentice's ball floating across. Sosa will end up picking it up. Tried to sneak that one between the defenders to Cheney. And although that wasn't the end result, the second best option, the corner kick, is what's awarded. Canopy Wealth Management corner kick for forward Madison. Devin Boyce from the right flag. Looking to sound the crowd. It's low, and it deflects off of Garrett McLaughlin and out. So in a way, much like the way the regulation period was, both teams throwing their punches one direction and the other. Long sought after goal, unacquired. Cheney goes down after that challenge from Cameron Miller. Cameron Miller upset, didn't feel it was a foul there. Here's a look at it on the Dairyland replay. Tangled up there, both of them pushing each other, and definitely contact against each other, so the ref says ultimately too much there from Cameron Miller. Floated ball up, Christian Cheney brings it down! That's an excellent save. Brooks Thompson reacts. The opportunities are starting to trickle in faster and faster here at Breese Stevens Field. Hits it one time, Christian Cheney, squeezing it near post, and Brooks Thompson was up for the task. Gonzalez, one-on-one with Sosa. Azriel Gonzalez tried the cross. Now Fernandez rolls that one back to Lewis. We have now hit triple digits here at Breese Stevens Field. 5 more minutes to go in this first period. Have another 15 after it. Both teams laying it all on the line here. Some major opportunities have started to fall on the plate for these two teams. Recently, Madison have been asking the questions. We've seen both captains at the start of the game get subbed out. Luis Heel in the second half and Mitch Osmond here in extra time. Chilaka. Over to Kroll. Devin Boyce with it now. Boyce sending it over to the right-hand corner for Sosa. He's able to bring it in. Already Sosa. Back to Timmy Mel. His ball sent inside. Still loose. Galindres! The flag goes up. Wolfgang Prentice offside on the service. Already Sosa has been putting in a shift and a half this evening. The ball has come his way a lot in this game. He's been asked to do a lot with it. The cross out there. Fernandez trying to connect with Gonzalez. And it contorted his body to get that pass off, and ultimately just too far ahead of Gonzalez. Oh, rough bad pass there. Behind Timmy Mel, tried to bring it in. But instead, throw in for Spokane in the attacking third. Should they choose to throw in that direction. Lewis. Spraying it over to the right-hand side, Javier Martin Heel. Fernandez now, squaring it to Waldeck. Fernandez. Back over to Lewis. Joan. Squaring it to Fernandez one more time. Waldeck chips it inside, brought down, and booted away by Villalobos. Cheney is looking to dance himself free. Ends up getting knocked over in the process. Now Spokane building. Waldeck searching for Dulling. Play goes on according to our head official, Thomas Snyder. Dulling is in the corner. That one knocked away from him. That'll be a throw in for Spokane. Quickly taken. These teams author up a chance before this first period ends. Gonzalez squares it. Fernandez. Lewis could wind up there. It's not to. Jome back to Lewis. Here's the service across. Headed back centrally. Not on target. Azriel Gonzalez. He was on the end of it, but he couldn't bring it down. The cross from Javier Martin Heel. Tallied an assist last week in that road win against the Hailstorm. Now hit 15 minutes in this first period. Sosa still going with it. Ready, Sosa feeds it inside. The back heel to Boyce, and Boyce's shot is wide. Two opportunities now at the top of the 18. Devin Boyce has let it fly, but he hasn't put it on target either time. Christian Cheney looking for one more pass there. This is where that decision-making starts to get dulled a little bit more. And I'm not about to say that it was a bad choice from Devin Boyce. Get an opportunity to shoot right down the center, top of the 18. Especially if you're Devin Boyce, that's a pretty good opportunity. Play goes on. Waldeck gets that one up to Pelaez. Fernandez is able to handle that scuffed ball nicely. Over 2 minutes going to be added on here. So the whistle could blow at any moment. And right on cue. So after 15 more minutes, similarly to the 90, no goals, no separation, still deadlocked at 0. Though here in extra time, boy, have we had some big moments. Huge chances for these two teams. So let's take a look at them. These all taking place in extra time. Prentice looking for Christian Cheney. Cameron Miller doing well to shield. There's another cross inside. And this one set up for a Devin Boyce shot. Not the worst hit, but it was ever rising. Christian Cheney continuing to make runs here. This time a one-timer. Excellent from him, but even better from Brooks Thompson. And Freddy Sosa, who's been a workhorse in this game, gets it back to Mel. Wolfgang Prentice was offside. It's well cleared away either way, though, by Marcelo Lage. And then on the other end, Azriel Gonzalez, as time was ticking away. We get one more opportunity from Devin Boyce. 15 more minutes before this one is decided at the spot. And one of these teams finish the job. Talks now from Lee Viedman as well as Matt Glazer. 15 more minutes or else this one is settled in a way that I don't think either team wants this game to be settled. I'm sure both Madison and Spokane would love to find that game winner here instead of letting it go to the penalty spot to determine who will meet Union Omaha. Christian Cheney hoping for some inspiration here. 15 more minutes. Will one of these teams be victorious, or will we be going to the penalties? So here we go. We're back at it. 15 more minutes of footy. Will one of these teams punch their ticket? It has been a deadlocked game for now over 105 minutes. Both teams with impressive moments, but nothing has broken through. Rolled up ahead, searching for Galindrez. Now Madison shooting towards their flock end. In their minds, they couldn't write up a better moment than to score now and etch their name into Mingo lore. Kroll. Wolfgang Prentice, light with the ball at his feet. Ball tangled around, cleared away. And at this point, if you're a fan, maybe you can't expect the prettiest of goals. Sometimes you just gotta make one happen. Use some elbow grease and hit the back of the net. It may be ugly, it may be scuffed. But after you've played this much footy in a single night, that might be the best you'll get. Evan Boyce, another guy who runs all over the field. Puts this one up, and Galindrez twirling to get a header on it. Not on frame. 107 minutes have gone by, and we have still only seen 2 shots on target, both of which by Madison. One during regulation and one by Christian Cheney in the first period of extra time that was saved by Brooks Thompson. We've gotten to a point in this game where you really start seeing just what these players are made of. As this one's given away, at least almost was. Anwar Pelaez was hoping to get on the end of it, but Bernd Schmidt recognizing the danger. This is when that roster buildup that we've talked about during this game really comes into play. For Madison, they found veterans who have made it happen in this league, that have won in this league. And although they didn't have as deep a roster throughout the season to pick from number-wise, again, this is a team that's been very impressive as far as their options on the bench. They just don't have as many players listed on the team. They don't have as many players on the payroll. Meanwhile, on the Spokane side of things, they do a lot of work, put in a lot of background checks on the guys they bring in. They talk to them, they talk to the coaches who have worked with them. It takes a ton of time to evaluate a player Or as Lee Veman says, it's person first, player second. Of course, I mean, you got to bring in good players, but they're not going to consider someone until they determine if they're a good fit culturally for Spokane. So you can learn, Lee Veman told me at the beginning of the year, you can learn a lot about a player by watching them play, especially how they react to certain situations. One example he gave me was when that player's team loses the ball. What's their body language like in that moment? Is their head up and looking to track back, or are they slumping their shoulders, displaying some attitude? Things like that are pretty telling in the makeup of a person on the pitch. And of course, if you've made it to a USL League One semifinal, then you've done a pretty good job at building your roster. You have quite a few good guys on your team who have their head on straight. But it's really put to the limit here when you're at your physical breaking point. Until someone or a group that haven't reached their breaking point, and that's the fans here in attendance. They've continued to bring all kinds of enthusiasm to this game. The noise has not died for a moment. Jome winding around. Javier Martin here with the outside of his boot, sending it forward. The decision of our assistant ref, and it's in favor of the home team. Jimmy Villalobos, member of the All-League second team. Still looking to assess all the information he possibly can. One lofted up the pitch, headed away by Lodge. Derek Waldeck, a little extra for good measure. Check that, Javier Martin heel, booting that one away. Cheney trying to slip that one to Galindra as appeals for a handball are waved off. Sides have played over 110 minutes with the ambition of reaching their first ever USL League One final. Madison having made it to the Jägermeister Cup final earlier this year, looking to make it 2 finals trips in a single season. Dulling taps it to Lewis. Sifting forward for Dulling. Dulling just trying to keep it in play. It'll be a goal kick. Whether it was keeping it in play or at least a better scenario, which would be a deep throw in their own half. Chilly night in Madison, but not devastatingly cold, and these are two teams that are used to lower temperatures, being from the northern portions of the country. And either one of them will be accustomed to whatever temperature awaits them in Papillion next weekend. Andre Lewis. Rolling this one out. Javier Martin Heel streaking forward. Still has gas left in the tank. Jome plays it back. At least back to Heel, that is. Javier Martin Heel to Jome once more. But Jimmy Villalobos stepping in. It's given right back. Jome rolling it out to Martin Heel. And then a challenge is made late. And it'll actually be our first yellow card of the evening issued to forward Madison. Took quite a long time, and Christian Cheney can't believe it. But a set-piece chance for Spokane. A team that's got some nice targets to go to. Cameron Miller, Marcelo Lage, Javier Martin Heel, Ish Jome, Josh Doling, Pelaez, all of which are 6 feet or taller. It's a lot of big bodies you could cross this ball to. Derek Waldeck, who is top 3 in the league in the amount of crosses attempted this season, will try to find his best one yet. Spokane Velocity once again on the road as the underdogs. Ball dipping down and headed over top, and it should be for a corner kick, and it will be. 2 Madison players getting on the end of it. This will be the 4th corner kick of the evening for Spokane. Madison has had 9 of them. With just about 4 minutes to go in this football game. The moments that we have left for a goal are dwindling by the moment. Waldeck sends this one in. Lage deflects it towards goal, but it does not reach its target. Waldeck gets by Galindrez. Waldeck, another cross, headed away. Spokane putting on the pressure here. Lewis traversing oh so nicely. Andre Lewis, not on frame. Everything up to the shot was so good there from the veteran. A silent leader, as Lee Veman described him. And we've got a late game substitution here. Sharif J subbing in. And a well-deserved applause for Eddie Sosa as he subs out on this festival food substitution. That man scampered, fought, clawed, crossed for so long in this game. At 33 years old for Eddie Sosa. Boyce rolling this one over. It's the substitute getting his first touch on the ball. And he's won it back. Jay into the 18. Jay feeds it inside. Entry denied. Gonzalez connecting with Dulling. And now Wolfgang Prentice stepping on that loose ball. Well defended. There's a sliding challenge from Jimmy Villalobos to at least stifle the counterattack. 2 more minutes to go of the 120 that we have been allocated to play in this game. Both of these teams looking for their first ever trip to the USL League One final. They will meet the back-to-back Player Shield champions Union Omaha. And we're we're just as close to determining which side it will be as we were at the very start of this game. 0-0. They've now had a combined 30 shots in this match. Dolling, that was lovely. Is this the moment here? And 119 minutes into this game, it is the first official shot on target for Spokane Velocity. Now, of course, that would do a little bit of a disservice to the moments that have been generated by Spokane in this game. A couple of great blocks from defenders on this forward Madison side have kept this one at a 0-0 scoreline. But this is the first time that Bernd Shipman has directly had to make a save. Lodge knocks this one away. At 1:20 looming here on the clock. We'll see if any more time is tacked on. Kroll. Long it in play. Cheney back out to Kroll. Kroll plays it back up top. And after 120 minutes, the most nerve-wracking scenario in sports is going to be needed for one of these teams to move on. 0-0 after 120. Penalty kicks will decide who advances. Let's take a look at how we got here. No goals to show for this one, but still loads of excitement all the way from the beginning of this game. A lot of chances. That was about 5 minutes into the match for Eddie Sosa, and he would play for another 100 plus. Andre Lewis with an effort there. Cross comes in. Christian Cheney lets it fly. And we get one of several interventions in the first half from Mitch Osmond, stepping on that cross, getting in the way. He'd have a couple of great challenges in that first half. And then this little combo, which would result in an effort for Christian Cheney. A deflected effort, saved by Brooks Thompson. Then we get into the second half of play. Marcelo Lodge with the header off the chest of Ferretti Sosa. Ferretti Sosa, once again, was working like a bee for almost the entirety of the 120 minutes played. Constantly involved. That ball service to Christian Cheney, unsuccessful there. And we get this shot from Devin Boyce beyond the 18, lets it fly, no good. Then Christian Cheney calls for the pass, and he makes pretty good of it. But Brooks Thompson, him, much like Bernd Shipman, holding clean sheets for 120 minutes. This lovely ball to Azriel Gonzalez, headed back across. No good there. So many chances in this game, but that little extra dash of heroicism or clinicality, however you want to describe it, wasn't there for one of these teams to take. And ultimately, as we go through these highlights, you see both teams having a crack at it. And the fact that's going to penalties, I mean, this might be the only way to decide for one of these teams to break through. And I wouldn't say that there is one team or another that will feel more hard done by getting bounced via penalties, because both teams had pretty decent haul of chances, and I wouldn't say one or the other had the better edge. The flock end will get to witness these dramatic moments. Penalty kicks to decide who will meet Union Omaha in the League One final. And for those who want context, in USL League One matches this season, Spokane went to penalties twice in the Jägermeister Cup, and they lost both of them. Similar situation for Madison. They were in penalty kicks twice this season. They lost once in group stage play in the Jägermeister Cup, and of course, notoriously lost in penalty kicks in the USL Jägermeister Cup final. Northern Colorado victorious there in front of their home crowd. Madison are hoping that their cup campaign and their league campaign don't end in similar fashion. Rain starting to come down here because of course we need a little extra drama. It will be Devin Boyce who will be going up to the plate first. Devin Boyce, a member of the first team, all USL League One this season. Already has one League One title in his name as an Owl. And he's looking for another chance at it next weekend. But he's going up against another League One champion in Brooks Thompson, who won in penalty kicks last year in the League One final. Boyce scores. For the first time this evening, that ball has hit the back of the net. Well taken. And a hefty arm thrust from Devin Boyce as he riles up the flock end. Madison with the advantage as Josh Doling, who scored the first goal in Spokane Velocity history. Coincidentally, that goal was a penalty kick. Now he needs to convert one here. The flock end, hooting and hollering, and Doling hushes them. Even apiece once again. The veteran, although has not played in a USL League One final, did play in the first ever MLS Next Pro final. So he's been in some high-intensity moments. While the championship resume continues here at Bree Stevens Field. Garrett McLaughlin now one-on-one with the man he hoisted the trophy with last season. Can he best his teammate? Or will the goalie deny him? It was a mid-season acquisition for Madison. And McLaughlin's done it. Once again, the Mingos with the advantage. He gives a high five to Burn Shipman. So a light smile on his face. He knows the job's not done. As Anwar Pelaez goes up to the plate, the Colombian, one of those guys added mid-season who have been a big contributor to the Spokane team. And Pelaez gets by Shipman. It was close. Oh, his hand not too far away from that ball, Shipman. But it is 2-2 here. Now the late change, Sharif J comes in. Jay steps up, it's saved! Brooks Thompson denying entry. Spokane with the chance to gain the advantage He guessed right, and he saved it oh so well. Brooks Thompson, the loanee from Hartford Athletic. He's looking to recreate some history. And now, Azriel Gonzalez, the man from Las Vegas, with the chance to give the visitors the edge. And Gonzalez has done just that. A blasting effort. Off the woodwork. What a take there. That takes some guts. Jimmy Villalobos now goes up to the plate. He made it to the League One final as a Chattanooga Red Wolf. Can he hang on here now as a Mingo? Villalobos does it nicely. So now, Spokane can put Madison at the cusp. They could put them at the edge. Villalobos doing well there as Andre Lewis steps up to the plate. The Jamaican midfielder. When he speaks, everyone on the team listens. That's what Lee Veidman told me. And Lewis gains the attention here. And the plucky underdog visitors are on the doorstep of another upset. Oh boy, it all comes down to Kristen Cheney here. Cheney, a man who has at many times this season been the reason Madison can celebrate at the end of games. He has to score here to keep the season alive. One-on-one with Brooks Thompson. Cheney steps up. He's done it. At least one more penalty kick to go. And a little intimidation factor to Brooks Thompson. He gives a big hug to his German goalkeeper, who has to step up big here. And Colin Fernandez will go up to the plate with a soft, cold rain falling down on the road in Madison. Fernandez, an inaugural season that just won't end. Spokane are victorious on the road and are off to the USL League One final. They have done it 2 weeks in a row. They've come into a fortress and come out alive. Brooks Thompson with another playoff penalty save has helped push his team to the USL League One final. Spokane Velocity, in their inaugural season, are just writing the history books here. It's jubilation on one end of the country and devastation on the other. A hard-fought 120-plus minutes. One of these teams had to see their season end. And in devastating fashion, Forward Madison, in both their cup and their league play, are not eliminated through the field of play, but from the cruelty of the penalty spot. So frustration's boiling over here after the fact, but the fact of the matter is, Spokane Velocity are moving on. We're gonna step aside briefly. When we come back, we'll wrap this one all up in a nice little bow for you here on ESPN+. 0-0 your final score, Spokane victorious in penalties.
This isn't just your normal bike. It folds, it unfolds, and it just goes. Need to climb that hill? No problem. And if you're looking for speed, well, you've come to the right place. 28 miles per hour, up to 65 miles of range. And equipped with hydraulic brakes, this is the Electric XP 3.0. Fully foldable, fully assembled, ships free. Simple as that. Go to electricebikes.com and come ride with us.
It's an S.
I'm not bad. My name is John Murphy. Pausani Ferry Sosa. Soy Juan Galindre. I'm Devin Boyce.
I gotta get a couple push-ups in, you know?
I can juggle. Justin.
Justicia.
Justice.
Justice. Justice.
Justice from the ground. Justice from the ground up.
Tomorrow, we've been expecting you. At TrueStage, we've been preparing for tomorrow for almost a century, helping businesses give their customers, members, and clients what they need to move forward with confidence. Because for us, the future brings possibility, protection, innovation, growth. With financial solutions across insurance, investments, and technology, the people you serve can take on tomorrow, today. So what are you waiting for? Tomorrow, here we come.
Lucky number 7, the 7 seed Spokane Velocity, victorious in penalty kicks over Forward Madison on the road in the hostile environment of Breese Stevens Field. And they can thank that man, Brooks Thompson, for doing what he did last year in the USL League One final, making a stop in penalty kicks to give his team the edge. And here are your full-time highlights here. A game rife with drama, but no goals to show for it. These full-time highlights brought to you by Just Coffee Co-op. Both teams with opportunities, both teams had their moments in this game. Over 30 shots total, but just 3 shots on target. Now granted, there were a couple other moments in this game where there was a good scoring opportunity, but the interjection of a defender from the other team stifling that chance and able to close it off before the goalkeeper had to make that stop. So I would say 3 shots on target, maybe doing a little bit of an injustice to the amount of moments that this game had where one of these teams could have broken through but just didn't. Game went on to the second half. Marcelo Lage with a good chance there. That's an exemplary example of what I was talking about. Already Sosa able to make the goal line clearance and keep Bernd Shipman from making a save. As this one crossed in, this is an extra time. Christian Cheney, well guarded by Cameron Miller. That's an example on the inverse of Spokane denying a shot on goal. And we see Devin Boyce here. That one ever rising over the crossbar. And Christian Cheney, another chance here in this extra time period. Brooks Thompson would make a big save here, but it wouldn't be the most iconic save he'd make this evening. That one headed over top. Juan Galindres couldn't get a piece of it. It was going to be offside anyway. And Osriel Gonzalez, one of the penalty kick takers, couldn't keep that one on frame. And another effort for Devin Boyce. This one also off target. And the game wore on and on and on, but neither side could find the edge in the field of play. Andre Lewis doing really well here to traverse traffic, but then the shot left something to be desired. Osriel Gonzalez letting one fly there. The lone save from Bernd Shipman. And then Colin Fernandez, victorious from the penalty spot. celebrating with Brooks Thompson and company. And that goalkeeper is our man of the match, brought to you by Festival Foods. Makes a big save in extra time and makes the much needed stop in penalty kicks, the only stop in penalty kicks. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to the Spokane Velocity for moving on to the USL League One final. Well, it's been a long night, a long show here at ESPN Plus. We thank you for tuning in for the entirety of it. If you were there from the beginning, we salute you for the cardiac exhilaration you probably got throughout this one. For our entire broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schoenster. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll see you next weekend. Your final score, 0-0. Spokane victorious in penalties. They'll be playing next week in the final.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.